again to another episode of the Wireless Income TV. This is a place where we bring incredible people who have done remarkable things in the home-based business industry, people who achieve amazing results in the marketing field here. And today with me, I've got somebody very special greeting us from sunny California. For him it's evening, for me it's morning right now. That's how amazing is the technology. He has created 13 millionaires. He helped 13 people to get to a status of achieving $1 million. He has been a lifelong entrepreneur, and that's Joe Licciardi from California. Hey, Joe, how are you doing?
Great, Marcin. Thanks for having me on this interview. I'm excited to answer your questions and how I can help you.
Sure. So, Joe, I just want to kind of first dive into right into the beginning of your story. How did it all started for you? What does entrepreneurship mean for you, and why did you embark on this journey?
Well, I'll tell you, often when I tell that story, it goes way back to when I was a young kid growing up. I saw my dad work 3 jobs just to put food on the table, a roof overhead, and clothes on our back. And every time we went over to one of the businesses that he worked for, their owner's house, I'd always see this spectacular house, the nice cars, the nice clothes, and I always thought, this is what I want to get, but my dad's working, maybe I have to always be a business owner. So back when I was just a young boy, I thought that I need to own my own business, and so at the age of 12, I started working in the restaurant industry, and by 17, I had my first restaurant. And the funny thing is, my wife and I just drove by 2 of them just the other day that we own. And so by the age of 21, I had 3 restaurants. So, I learned at a very young age that really financial freedom is truly owning your own business. But of course, with that, there's an offset. There's a lot of headaches along having your own business. And but that's kind of why for the past 35 years I say I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've always been in business for myself, and that's just part of what I've enjoyed doing.
Fantastic, that's great. And so I guess naturally the next step for you was home-based business. That's where you made your big breakthrough, and I believe you made way over $5 million, right?
That's correct. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And I've seen this video with you when you explain how this was very, very powerful line. I remember watching it for the first time, and I had shivers when you shared that. You said, "Whenever I have my back against the wall, I fight back." And something happened there. There was a situation when that motivated you. There was a turning point or something. Would you like to a little bit explain that and share the story, because I'm sure it will touch lots of people.
Yeah. I think, Marcin, everybody reaches a certain boiling point or tipping point. The book, The Tipping Point. Everybody in their life reaches that tipping point, but not everybody takes advantage of that moment. Some people retract when they have that point of adversity. Some people retract and kind of draw back from society, where others they push forward. It's through every retraction in my life, I had a greater expansion. And when that happened in 2006, 2007, when I was at the lowest point financially in my life, it was my family that really motivated me to get out there. And at 50 years old, I was ashamed at being broke. I was financially broke at that time. Of course, my gyms, I had 4 health clubs at the time, traditional businesses. And my wife was in real estate. The real estate market here in Southern California went really bad, and so I was left up to, if it's going to be, it's up to me kind of thing. And of course, the network marketing industry came around. I had looked at it many times before, but I never had any success. And it probably goes back to just having the right mindset. I know you want to talk kind of about the mindset, but I believe that I had reached a certain point in my life that I was ready for this enormous success. I had done all the steps previous, to get myself and my mind ready. And now that my back was against a wall, network marketing just happened to be there. But here's what I understood about network marketing. You see, I could run a multi-million-dollar business without liability, without customers, and without employees. You see, I had a large business at one point, over 200 employees that worked for me in a personal training. I had personal training facilities. and a lot of headaches. Even though I made a lot of money, a lot of headaches. But I realized with network marketing, you can have a multi-million-dollar global business, and yet you can operate from your home. And so those were some of the things that I was attracted to. Of course, I liked the idea of making money 24 hours a day. You're in Malaysia, and I'm in the U.S., right? So if you find the right connections, you're not limited to your time zone to make money. When I go to sleep tonight, my team over in the Pacific, South Pacific, and in Asia go to work for me. So I go to bed, they start making money for me. So I love that 24-hour thing about network marketing, and I just applied everything that I had learned over my years in business to the network marketing model. And like I said, everything was right. The mindset was right. My back was against the wall, and man, this came out swinging. And the work ethic was something that not everybody will do, because I had over 200,000 people in my business, but not everybody achieved that level of success that I had. And I've often been asked, why is that? There's a lot of reasons, but most people aren't willing to do what you need to do to be successful.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on this work ethic as well, because you also mentioned, I remember, I think within a period of 6 or 8 months, you took us one day off and you worked around the clock, pretty much. For anyone who is watching and listening to that, the keyword is massive, massive action. Would you like to expand on that a bit?
Yeah, it was. That's kind of my nature, Marcin, is that I'm either all in or not in at all, and that's the only way that I personally have been able to accomplish things, and that's just my nature. And when people say, Joe, you work 24 hours a day, well, really I did. Mentally, I worked 24 hours a day, but really physically, I was working about 18 hours a day. Got very little sleep because I knew that there was a window of opportunity, a season that I had to grab as much as I could. And that's why I was just saying, most people won't do what you need to do in order to be successful. And really, I mean, the first 6 months of building this new business, I took one day off, literally one day off. I worked 7 days a week. I had my spiritual time on Sunday, but I still went out and did the necessary work that I had to do even on Sunday, and got very little rest. And here's what I'll say to those out there. You have to find balance. I'll tell you right now, I didn't have balance. The first year and a half of my business, I got really out of balance, and that's not a good thing. And so now I've learned to balance things out, and I struggle with that because, like I said, I'm an all or nothing guy. But I've learned to balance things out. So for those that are viewing this interview here, don't think that you have to work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 6 months, a year at a time, otherwise you won't have success. Don't think that. You got to be able to have balance. That's just what I did. But sure. Here's what it shows you. It shows you what can happen when you apply the right tools with the right in the right industry with the right company, and you can just have massive results.
Cool. That's amazing. I just want to also recap a little bit, like what you just said. Lots of people see this overnight success, right? That things happen, but you just mentioned that behind the overnight success, there are often years of trials and failures, and picking yourself up, and things that look overnight, they have massive, solid foundation underneath. And what you mentioned as well, I love this element of adversity. Somebody said that adversity makes some people break. As you mentioned, retract, and it makes other people break records, and you're clearly example of that. And I just want to also take this interview from here, from the point of retraction, because I've read also something about you when you mentioned about self-development and how important are retractions, because lots of people are searching and looking for those peaks that will take them to the top. But I loved when you emphasize and you explain how powerful are the retractions and why we need to focus, because they show true character. Would you like to expand a little bit on that? Like, what does it mean for you personally, and maybe bring a story?
Yes, I would like to expand on that. Most people think they're defined as an individual, or their character is defined when they're at the top of that mountain. But it's not when you're at the top of the mountain, because when you're top of the mountain, you can see everything. The true character of a man is when he's in the valley, because it's in the valley where a person learns more about themselves. They learn more about their struggles. They learn more about what needs to be done, and what not to do the next time. And it's really, that's where where the true value of an individual is, can they come back from adversity? But here's what I'll tell you, what gets me excited, and even right now, I'm not at the very top. I'm not. I've had retraction again. But I'll tell you what, I can map out, if I had a graph that I can map out my life, that every time that I had a retraction in my life, I had a greater expansion. Every time. Every single time. Now the season, it could have been a year or 2 or 3 or 4 in between that expansion again, but every single time that I had a retraction, the expansion when it came around was greater. You know why? Because I was more prepared. I did more personal development. I was persevering even more. Most people in that time of retraction we just talked about, they sit back. And there's a time to kind of gather yourself up, to think about, to redefine yourself. But what motivates me is knowing that the next time this expansion happens, it will be greater than anything I've ever had before. And so that's what keeps me going. And for those out there, if you're in a place right now where we're thinking that, man, I'm at the worst point of my life. Well, good for you, because you know what? It can't get any worse. It can only get better. Yeah. And that's what you want to focus on. It can only get better from here. And just know that if you keep trying, right? If you keep moving forward, things will change and you'll see your success.
I just want to emphasize on this intensity of how you describe that. And it represents this powerful belief that you have that is so much opposite to so many people out there who think that when they are at the bottom, that this is the end. For you, this is the beginning.
Absolutely.
For you, amazing things are about to happen. The excitement and joy that the right on the peak right now will be much greater, just simply because there was a retraction. Love that.
Yeah. Well, also I'm a very spiritual person. I'm a believer in my faith, and I just know that God takes me through these journeys to teach me even more. He teaches. He disciplines me even more, so that the next time I'm even a better steward for him. I'm a better vessel for him.
Beautiful. That's powerful. That's powerful. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks.
Joe, I just wanted to also kind of ask you a little bit about your mentors, because we all have mentors on the way. Things that somebody comes around. It might be a book. It might be a friend. It might be somebody that has already done something. Says something, and it turns things around in our head. Who would be your 3 kind of most influential mentors, and what do they say?
Well, I'll tell you what, I will have to say my first mentor is God, and I follow the Bible pretty religiously. I follow it, and I believe the word and what it says. So that's my first one. When we talk about life here on this earth, I have a good friend of mine. He's been in the network marketing industry for 35 years. He's a very, very successful individual. And, he taught me about always, even though your business might not be growing, he always said, Joe, keep your hand to the plow. Always keep your hand to the plow and moving forward. Don't take your hand off the plow. And when I think about that, over the years of being in the industry now, when a person starts, what I've seen happen before is they're going along this road, right? They're going along this road, and all of a sudden they start feeling, it's not going as well, and they start turning to the left, they start turning to the right, their blinders come off, and next thing they know, they lose focus. That's one thing he told me. He says, you've got to be able to keep your focus and keep moving forward. So that's an individual. I read a lot of books. In fact, let's see. You might be able to see. That's
I can.
Part of
leaders are readers.
That's only part of my library, and every book on that shelf, there's hundreds of them I've read. John Maxwell's a great book for leadership. Dr. Miles Monroe for just principles of life, spirituality, a great book. Jim Rohn. Those are the ones that come to fruition. Of course, the great books of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. All these books are stepping stones for those that want to grow and learn from. And you made me realize something just now. I never thought about books as my mentors, and I guess they are. They truly are, because I have a great amount of knowledge and wealth from these books, because I'm not a very educated person. I barely made it through school. My education came from being self-educated.
That's what most successful people, actually high percentage of successful people, like when we look at Branson's, when we look at, I think Disney as well, I mean, they had like obstacles and lots of challenges on the way. But I recently went back to Poland, you know, I travel, I spent quite a lot of time, I've been away from home, I mean, I left Poland 12 years ago. And I went into my room, and I've got my brother who is currently 14 years old, he's 20 years younger than me. And I gave him my 4 books that I believe, I told him, be careful, because those books are dangerous. They can change your life. So they should be written, there should be like a warning on that book, because I had 4 books that totally changed the direction of my life. The first book was a Polish book, Dobre, where I used to be a punk rocker, I used to do crazy stuff. After reading that book, it made me hungry for knowledge. It made me look for answers, and it made me ask questions. Second thing was Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. This book sent me to UK.
Wow.
Third book was Think and Grow Rich. It was Richard Kurdat. And because I was at university and I wanted to actually continue be part of the corporate life in UK for a while. But later somebody gave me that book and it stung me. It really stung me. I couldn't think straight after that, and it made me believe that it's possible to create an income that is bigger than your expenses, that it's possible to achieve residual income, and I had this obsession in my mind. And later I had 4-hour work week that sent me even further. It sent me here to Asia. Books are dangerous.
Yeah. But books are knowledge, and that's I think the only way we learn is either through a mentor who works with you side by side or through.
Powerful, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And Joe, I just want to also go to another point. I mean, you mentioned several times here faith, and I love hearing that. And I would love to ask you, what did faith do for you, and what does it mean for you?
Wow. Well, first of all, faith gives me hope. Faith gives me hope. There's so many people in this world that they don't have a belief in the God the way that I believe in God. They're hopeless, right? So that gives me a lot of hope through every situation. I could be at the lowest point in my life, financially, physically, emotionally, but as long as I hold on to my faith, that will get me through it. And I believe that everything that I have, everything that I've accomplished, is because of how how blessed I've been with everything that He's allowed me to have, and so with that, we're to be a vessel to go out into the world and touch other people's lives, and that's what I really enjoy doing. As you mentioned at the beginning of this, I helped 13 people become millionaires. Is it about the money? I mean, look, without money, what can you do, right? I always say, without money, I could not have supported all the ministries that I supported. But it's really about touching the lives and seeing people's lives change through this business. But, we are a vessel, and my faith and my belief in that has allowed me to go out there and be a businessman, but also be a faith-based businessman.
Powerful.
Did I answer that for you?
Sure, yeah. I just recently picked up again Think and Grow Rich, and I think also Napoleon Hill mentioned that faith is the most powerful emotion. And also, I heard this interesting statement that spin my head as well, that faith is opposite of fear.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Yeah, and faith is opposite of worrying. And when I heard that, I said, like, I have no faith, because there was a point in my life when I was really worrying a lot. So that's often going through obstacles without faith. As you mentioned, hope is such a powerful thing. I mean, we as entrepreneurs, home-based business owners, we have to manufacture our own optimism.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And I want to continue. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say, being an entrepreneur, you're kind of in business for yourself, but sometimes you're not by yourself. But the thing is, in leadership, they always say it's lonely at the top. You have to motivate yourself.
Sure. Yeah.
You've got to be able to be on top of it every single day.
Cool. Joe, I just want to also touch on, because you've seen so many people coming into the business and staying, some of them, making it really strong to the top, and many of them leaving. And How would you define a true leader? Through what characteristic, what belief system would you see in people who made it to the top? What is it important to get to make it, you know, in a spectacular way?
Yeah. Well, here's what I'll say. What I look for in a leader, because I've seen leaders who made it to the top that did not have the qualities I would have chosen in leadership. Right? I mean, look, a leader, we got to have a lot of you know, there's a certain part of us that we have a big ego, but a true leader never shows that. A true leader has a true humbleness about him, that it's more important of helping other people first before you even help yourself. I've always been one that if I can help enough people get what they want, I'll be able to have what I want. And so that's one of the first qualities I look for in an individual is as a leader is you know, where is their ego? Do they check it at the door, or do they bring it out and put it on their sleeve all the time? And that's because there's always going to be conflict. If a leader's always showing his ego, you know, and not the humble side of him, that's going to be a tough leader, because that's what he's going to duplicate in his team. So I look for leaders that have humble. And then I look for leaders that have had some type of success in their life. Now, whether it's business success, sports success, school success, somewhere in their life, you know, if a person's had that moment where they remember back and they go, oh my gosh, I remember that time, it was amazing. Doesn't matter if it was financial success, whatever it is. Because once a person has had some type of success, you can recreate that same mindset. You can recreate that same feeling that they had, that moment they had that success. And once you can recreate that with that person, what happens is now they're able to go out and duplicate that success again.
Powerful. Love that. Love that. Yeah, it's like a program pattern that you can turn on. Yes, right. That
Right.
people will be able to connect with that. I love that. Joe, we covered amazing stuff here. I mean, starting from overcoming adversity, going through leadership, faith, and lots of other golden nuggets here.